Hey everybody, we are back on the channel with another episode of Chokes and Eye Pokes. We've taken a bit of a break. We hope you didn't miss us too much. I hope the podcast has kept you busy. As always, please like the video, comment, subscribe. Have a look in the description box for our link on Spotify if you prefer to listen there. And also, we're very, very lucky to be able to bring you 10% off any purchases on Ligum Fightwear. We're talking jiu-jitsu apparel, fighting apparel, just all-around fitness apparel and fitness equipment. Have a look, link in the description. Use the discount code HACKCHECK10 for 10% off your next purchase. I'm your host as always, Vern. I'm joined today again. Welcome back, Jack. How's it going?
Yeah, good to be back. It's like we're now in spring, it
Supposed
feels
to be.
Yeah, well, it's warm enough, well, also pretty cold.
Yeah. My big thing is just the sun's going down at a better hour.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like, when the day's done at work or whatever, like the day's completely done. So
yeah,
luckily it's still quite sunny outside. But yeah, man, a lot's happened in the time you've gone. A lot happened this past weekend as well. We'll get to that in a second. But I think there's a lot to catch up on, especially like UFC 292, our favorite old Aljamain.
I didn't see that coming. New Bantamweight champion with Sugar Sean. Wow. What did you think of the fight just in general?
Yeah, man, O'Malley, so we knew what O'Malley's key to victory was. Is exactly what he did.
Yeah.
We knew what Aljamain was going to try to do, but it's just like, until it happens, it's still so shocking, to see it. And yeah, man, Aljamain now, where does he go to from here? Because it's a convincing way to lose.
Yeah.
And O'Malley's already going to call out Cheeto Vera. So, that's probably the next fight that they go and make again.
I still don't like that fight. I don't like Cheeto and O'Malley. I think that's like maybe a money fight. And I guess that's kind of what scares me a little bit about O'Malley's title reign. He's so clever, in terms of being a businessman. I don't think he'll pick the hardest fights necessarily. And I'm just thinking of Sandhagen the whole time. I just don't know what he's going to have to do to get to a title shot.
Yeah, it's interesting because Sandhagen had that boring performance last. We know why, but I feel like he's a big enough name to not have to reprove himself. But like Dana White says a lot of times, like, you're only as good as your last fight. So, which is true.
Yeah,
it's very true. But so we even were like wondering about what's going to happen, like if O'Malley won, even if Aljamain won, because Merab. It's probably better now that O'Malley won, just freshens things up. But Merab is now in the picture as well. Well, should be in the picture.
Yeah.
Dana White had some comments about it. I didn't see the full thing. I just think he said, like Merab said, well, whoever gets to fight for the title next gets to fight. Something like that.
Yeah. I think so. Merab, he was offered I think there was some negotiation, and then Merab was saying, I don't want to fight. I think Aljo should get an immediate rematch. So that was like kind of the gist from what I understand.
And then Dana White kind of tore him apart about that.
Yeah, because also that's pretty fair. Because that decision's not up to Merab, and it's a good opportunity. So I can understand both sides.
My question has always just been like, well, what are you then fighting for? Are you fighting to be the best number 2 in the world?
Oh, and also, does Aljo deserve an immediate rematch? I don't know. Do you think that stoppage was early?
Not really. No, I don't think so. I think it was justified.
Yeah, same.
I don't think it deserves an immediate rematch, to be honest with you. I think there's enough there with Cheeto.
Yeah.
And I think Sandhagen there, that's an interesting fight as well.
And Henry?
Yeah, Henry's around. Look, Henry's coming off a loss, so I think Henry Cejudo needs to prove himself. Not prove himself, actually, that's the wrong way to think about it. You need to at least, I don't think you should fight for a title coming off a loss, unless you were like Israel Adesanya was dominant champion for a long time.
Yeah.
Immediate rematch, fair enough. But Cejudo lost, so why does he get to fight? He needs to get a win at least. Sean Strickland got a win, even though he was not deserving in my opinion, but you just need to at least get a win in the win column again to be able to fight for a title, surely.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's how it should be. Yeah, I don't know who else. It's a very close top 5. I don't know. It's
one thing's for sure, it freshens up the division at least.
Yeah.
It could get a little bit stale, I guess. Aljamain didn't really. Aljamain had 2 or 3 defenses, I think. It wasn't that many. But it could get very stale very quickly because of the reasons we said before. Like Merab wasn't going to fight with him.
Yeah.
O'Malley would have been eliminated out of the title picture had he lost, probably.
Yeah.
Sandhagen would probably be the only one really that could have gone for the title, I guess. So because Cejudo already lost to Aljamain.
Yeah.
So
it just feels a bit bleak that the only way to back to the title, even if you are really good, is to like move up a weight class, similar to Max Holloway now. And like where I don't know that sorry to like jump over, but also just we to cover him versus Zombie, like whoa, what a fight. But like will he get another title shot?
They're talking about a fourth fight.
Yeah.
With Volkanovski. I don't like that, man. I don't know. I still think Volkanovski is going to do the Topuria fight, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Win that fight. Yeah, Topuria is a beast, but I think Volkanovski is just, there's no stopping him at the moment.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And Volkanovski moves up, and then Max Holloway's in the title picture again. I don't think Max Holloway needs to push too much. I think he just needs to wait it out and see what happens with Volkanovski Topuria and have Volkanovski move up to face Makhachev or Oliveira.
Gaethje. I would love to see the Gaethje fight.
Yeah, well, no, I think he fights straight for a title.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think so that's also, well, does he now? Because Gaethje's performances, so do they, I think possibly, it just depends on how the timing works. You might have Makhachev, Oliveira. You see, the tricky thing now is, okay, let's say Makhachev wins again.
Yeah, will he move up? That's also the thing.
No, I don't think so.
He's been calling out Leon like quite a bit.
I think there's enough fights for him at 55 that he needs to. Although, like people have criticized Khabib for not having that many title defenses. So maybe Makhachev goes and does the same thing.
Yeah.
Look, Khabib's was other circumstances, with his family and everything. But Makhachev, Oliveira, that's got to run its course, whichever way it goes. But let's say it's a one fight and Makhachev wins and history repeats itself.
Yeah.
Then when he fights Gaethje, maybe Volkanovski fights Topuria, sort of similar timelines. Volkanovski wins. The winner of that fight should be a spectacular finish. Gaethje doesn't win boring, and Makhachev has, should probably finish him. So then they'll fight each other, maybe. But if it goes other way and like Oliveira wins, I got to do a rematch, and then let's say like Volkanovski loses.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Being a matchmaker must be hard, dude.
Yeah.
Trying to long-term plan. I guess they just don't do that.
But the fight that I want to see at featherweight is Topuria versus Holloway. I think that as a title eliminator. I don't know.
Yair
versus
Holloway just wrecked Yair, I guess. So that's out of the question. So possibly Yair Topuria. If Topuria loses to Volkanovski, then the winner of that maybe as a title eliminator.
Maybe.
But who wants to see a fourth fight? Volkanovski's going to beat him again.
I don't know. He's like, Max is so good. And I'm also amazed how young he is. He's like 31. I think that he's getting better. His jits, that gets better, I don't know. He's just the man. He deserves the crown.
How's he going to beat Volkanovski though?
Yeah, that's impossible. But he's good.
It's so crazy. Yeah. He had I don't know what the exact figure is, 16 fights he's won.
Yeah.
And he's only lost 3, and it's the same person.
Yeah.
It's at featherweight now, obviously, because he did have the Dustin Poirier fight at lightweight. Yeah, but at featherweight, that's, in the last couple of years, after the Conor fight, absolute 10 and just lost to Volkanovski.
But they're all good fights. I think I prefer. It is very tough.
They were close. They were very close. He was pissed on a couple of them.
Yeah.
I remember the one he's like, "It's good. It just walks out of the octagon. But I don't know if I want to see that fight again. Listen, they're both entertaining. I'll probably end up watching that fight. Probably be a barn burner. But I think a trilogy is where things need to stop, unless your division is thin, like it is with Brandon Moreno and versus Figueiredo.
Yeah, I guess because then if Max wins, which isn't impossible, then what do? Do you leave it at 3 3-1, and then the last person,
What if he wins a split decision? Do you then go a fifth time?
Yeah.
Oh, then he wins a split decision again, let's say, and then it's like 3-2, and it's like, well, then give me a chance. You can do 7 fights.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe they do that. Maybe that's the new way of things. Maybe it's the first time people do 7.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
they make it like the NBA playoffs or the
Best
final.
out of 7. Yeah.
Best out of 7. So I guess we're gonna see soon enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, this weekend we had the UFC Paris card. I think it was quite a decent card. Couple of good fights on there. The first fight on the main event was Morgan Charrière versus Manolo Zucchini. Charrière won by KO, body kick and punches. What are your thoughts on this fight?
I'm excited to have Charrière in the UFC. That was a really good debut, and that post-fight interview was hilarious. Yeah, I'm excited for him to be around.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. I mean, it was if you look at the records. Okay, look, it was Zucchini's UFC debut. He did have a 2-fight win streak as well. But Charrière, I mean, also UFC debut. This is now his 4th fight in a row, and he was tearing it up in Cage Warriors as well. So it was really, really good to see. He was never in trouble. Focused a lot on the body kicks, and that's what got him there in the end. But it was. He was the favorite, I think. I didn't check the betting odds, but he should have been the favorite. But it was just an utter destruction, though. Like it wasn't even.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close in any aspect.
Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive.
Super, super impressive. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, not the best record, but I mean, these days, to be honest with you, records don't really mean much anymore. So
and he seems young. I'm surprised that like his record is that big already.
Yeah. Very, very experienced. So then we had William Gomes beat Yanis Khemuri, TKO body kick.
What did you
Weird
body kick?
Body / low blow / I mean,
what
come on.
Was that illegal in your opinion?
I think it hit the body. I mean, if you look at where it went, but okay. So even if it
was illegal,
it's just it was the oddest decision, because let's say the referee says it's not a low blow. You need to continue. Okay.
Yeah.
If it is a low blow, you need to stop and give the person some time to rest. But this was just kind of like, it was almost like the referee said, it's not a low blow, stop acting. If you don't stop acting, we're going to call this a TKO.
Yeah.
But usually, even when it's marginal like that, the referee calls timeout and goes, listen, that wasn't a low blow. We're going to restart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, no, it was not a low blow. I think it was like Usyk's fight, the boxing fight, where he also got low blowed. No, I mean, but then again, maybe they're trying to set a precedent now. If you're gonna act like it's a low blow, I mean, there's a lot of people that have acted like
try to get some time.
Try to get some time to rest or something. That wasn't for me. Wasn't a low blow. No.
Okay. I also think he was like he was pretty far ahead in the scorecards, in my opinion. Yeah. I think he was definitely...
Who was Gomes or
Gomes? Yeah. I think he was winning the fight anyway. I think low blow or not. I mean, he was also winning the third. I think I would say he won first and second, and he was winning the third. Like, yeah. Regardless of the blow, it was a good performance.
It was odd because there was a little bit short on aggression, to be honest with you. Like the fight, they were kind of a little bit timid.
Yeah. But he had more control.
Yeah, no, he had more control. He was also a lot bigger, it looked like, But now Gomes, man, 11-fight win streak, 7-0 in the UFC. Khemuri's got his first. He was on a 9-fight win streak. That's what's also so weird to me is like you're on a 9-fight win streak. It's your UFC debut. I mean, look, a low blow is like super painful. Like you can't. I mean, you've all been hitting the balls before.
Yeah.
It's not something you're just like, oh well, let's just shake it off. No pun intended, but
yeah.
Surely, man, you want to try to preserve that. I mean, because if he'd won this and he got 10-fight win streak, that's already like second fight in the UFC. That's a lot of hype behind you. But I mean, be that as it may, I think it should have just restarted. Why was it a TKO? Why? Like it?
Yeah, I do agree.
It makes no sense.
There was no option for time either. Yeah,
you should call a timeout, but again, the judging's weird. Maybe now the referee's a little bit.
Yeah, I think the French guy, those are super zealous to get. I don't know. Well, if you look at the matchmaking as well, this one isn't that good an example, but a lot of it did seem like like mismatches almost. Like they were definitely like a lot easier for the French fighters.
It was like the UK card.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
exactly like the UK card. Like
Or-
we even with the Molly Meatball, we thought that she was gonna.
Molly Meatball.
Yeah, that's her nickname.
Okay.
Yeah, did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
we came up
Yeah.
with that now.
So that we thought just based off the records that was going to be also like, and then Aspinall. I mean, come on, that was like a.
Yeah.
It is always pretty biased towards him. I remember like old Canadian cards as well, where it was like super mismatchy for the Canadian fighters because they want to send the crowd home happy. Plus, like with the Canadian card, it was like 55,000 people.
Yeah.
You know, the only real non-mismatches were the George St. Pierre fights because, well, any fight's kind of a mismatch when you fight GSP, but they were like real contenders to fight GSP most of the time. So it's kind of a trend. Seems to be a trend. So when UFC South Africa comes,
Yeah.
what are you saying?
Yeah.
It'll be a mismatch. I think it's a mismatch in any event for Izzy and Drickus, but that's a whole. We've said that like 6,000 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So yeah, Gomis moving on to 13-2. Then we had Volkan Oestermeer. It was Volkan. Yeah, Volkan Oestermeer was the next one, beating Bogdan Gazkov.
Yeah.
Wow, submission. Only the second submission in his career, and the first one since like I wrote here 2012.
Yeah, really impressive. I like. I don't know. In retrospect, of course, I didn't expect it to go down like that. I mean, but at the same time, how to pronounce this guy's name? Gustav.
Guskov, sorry, Gustav.
Guskov. He's just so strong.
Yeah. And he took a fight on short notice as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he did hit Volkan on with a lot of shots, but Volkan did absorb the shots and cracked him with a couple of shots of his own, dropped him and sunk in that rear naked choke and
followed up really well.
Yeah, I mean, he's a former contender at light heavyweight, so I mean, for him to now hope maybe be on the way back, I don't know. He's had a bumpy road the last couple of years, and light heavyweight is a bit of an odd one at the moment. So why not? Hey, listen, after Sean Strickland gets a title fight this weekend, anything is possible.
Yeah,
anything is possible, dude.
Yeah,
you never know. Maybe gets a few impressive runs, and maybe needs to just change his nationality to American. He would have got a title shot. Maybe.
Yeah,
you know?
already. Yes.
Benoit Saint Denis, another impressive performance, beating Thiago Moises.
Yeah,
I don't really know how to say that. So
Thiago Moises. I think so.
TKO second round.
Yeah, good. He called out Gaethje or something. He called out some fighter. Although I'm not sure if is that a fever dream, because I don't even know if they're on the same. Are they? This was
lightweights. Yeah, he's in the post. Yeah, but remember he dropped down to lightweight. So I mean, that's his fourth fight in a row, all finishes since dropping down.
Yeah.
He literally. I got my fight notes here. Showed zero regard for Moises, like none at all. Like anything Moises did, he was just like, okay, cool, whatever. Just kept marching forward.
Yeah.
Listen, he's been on an absolute tear.
He's a problem.
He's a big problem at lightweight. And he's big, like you say. So I mean, he tried to mix it up with his takedowns in round one, and then Moises was trying to attack from the bottom.
Yeah.
And then round two was kind of they had. First off, sorry. Speaking of low blows. There were two low blows that stalled the fight a little bit in the beginning.
To be honest, I can't remember too much from this fight. I only watched towards the end.
So there were two low blows, and then it kind of stalled things. But then they finally got going. And then I don't remember much about round two. I think it was a continuation of round one minus some of the takedowns, and then round three just again showed zero regard and just took him out. So now this is the first loss in 3 for Moises as well. Goes to 17-7. That's a bit of a bad one. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but Saint Denis now, like 4-fight win streak, like I said, all finishes. Good fight. I mean, it was back and forth. They both took quite a bit of damage, but Saint Denis is on a big tear at the moment.
Has he fought a ranked opponent yet?
Don't know, to be honest with you. I'm trying to think if anybody. I think he has, but he hasn't fought any of the big names just yet.
Yeah.
So that's probably next. That has to be next.
Has to be.
I mean, the episode I released on Tuesday with Don Madge, he was saying like, in the PFL, what's great about the PFL is you fight 4 times, you fight for a title. in the tournament setting. And the UFC and MMA should be like that. 4 or 5 wins, you should fight for a title.
Yeah.
Okay, now here, maybe this is a little bit premature, but at least now he should fight maybe one of the big 5 or the big 6, if they're not, that aren't already tied up in the title picture.
Yeah.
And I think it's time for him to get that test and to see where he's really at.
Mm.
Because there's a big difference between the people he's been fighting now and like a Gaethje, a Dustin Poirier, even though Dustin Poirier is probably going up to welterweight.
You think?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's done it at lightweight. I mean, he's big, eh? He's a big
He's
dude.
big.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
And he's Don was saying he's not that tall. He's met him. He's not that tall, but he is a big dude.
Mm.
So yeah, good win for Saint Denis. Then we had former EFC fighter Manon Fiorot. I'm butchering these names, eh? Man, I'm butchering the French name, so my apologies. She beat Rose. Rose making a debut at flyweight. So it's now Rose's second loss in a row.
Yeah.
It was very close, and I think it could have gone either way. By the way, did you see what Rose's hand looked like?
Jeez.
We'll put a graphic up on the screen.
Aina.
Yeah.
How does that happen to your finger?
I think she broke the bones in the top here.
What round was that?
I don't know actually. But I think it was round 1. She said she had it in. She broke it in round 1. Yeah.
Oof.
Imagine trying to punch with that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't hide it.
Mm. And if it's a glancing, like if you're...
I mean, if you connect sometimes, I mean, you can hit that. I mean, that's how she broke it. So, props to Rose for fighting through that. But I mean, back and forth, I mean, it was 30-20. Again, it's 29-28 on 2 judge scorecards and then 30-27 on another judge. So I guess, I mean, that round, the one round that went to Rose by 2 judges, I guess went to Manon for this one. But yeah, man, I mean, she had 2 fights in the EFC not too long ago. She had 2 fights in the EFC in 2019.
Nice.
2 quick fights.
Mm.
And here we are. Yeah. 4 years later, 11-fight win streak, 6-0 in the UFC.
Yeah. No, that's been really impressive. I think, she should definitely win over the title. Like hops in after.
Well, that's what she wanted. She said she wants the winner of Grasso and Shevchenko. Listen, man, Shevchenko, butchering these names today, man. I think she wins that rematch, to be honest with you.
Okay,
I think she made a tactical error and maybe just took Grasso too lightly.
Yeah.
Nothing against Grasso, but I think she wins it. Then they probably have to they got to probably do a trilogy.
Oh no.
And then that's gonna. But if Grasso wins, then Manon's next.
Yeah.
Surely. But I mean, props. I mean, that's another. Again, that just shows you the level of EFC. For the people that are really like the top tier EFC athletes.
Yeah. Excel.
They excel.
Yeah.
And again, in the episode that of the podcast that dropped on Tuesday with Don, he was saying like South Africa now. Okay, she's not South African, but she comes from the South African organization. The level, we know our level now. It's not just like, oh, we think we're there and, maybe we can make it. No, like the people in South Africa and that are fighting in South Africa, they know that they are the right, they are of a level that can compete at the top.
Yeah.
The UFCs and the UAE Warriors and one championship. And she's another example. Okay, she's French, but she still fought in the UFC.
Yeah. Yeah, and next generation. I don't know. If she's not a champion in the next year, I can definitely see it. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's way too early to tell. I mean, that title picture, like you say, is quite hard to clarify.
It's always hard when there's rematches, because then you got to wait again, and then what happens? Then it's like a Frankie Edgar situation. You're just waiting.
Yeah.
So what next for Rose?
I don't know. What do you think?
I wonder if she still has it, like if she still has the ambition or the love for fighting. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's like she went from beating Joanna Jędrzejczyk to then like losing the title, winning it back. Like
the winning it back that takes like a lot. But imagine the 3-time world champion would also that would be a huge story. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like, I don't know. It'd be great.
All the talent in the world, all the skills in the world. I think maybe like her mental thing, maybe she just psychs herself out. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking shit. I don't know. But very up and down lately, you know. So I think she'll get another chance. It would have been nice for her to, and it was close. I mean, really was close.
And she's at the top, yeah.
And she broke her hand. So, and I think Dana White should be quite loyal to her because she's. I mean, she deserved it.
Yeah.
So, let's see what happens, man. And we move on to the main event. Cyril Gane beats Sergey Spivak with TKO. I did not expect that.
Yeah. He just controlled the whole time. There was a perfect game plan from him. I don't know what Sergey's game plan was. But it was not implemented. He tried to take him down once. Gane, I was really impressed with his takedown defense, but I think he got discouraged or something. Just he couldn't take him down, and the space, Gane was just controlling it so well. His footwork, I don't know, the whole octagon was his.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he looked reinvigorated. He looked motivated. Spivak, I would have thought Spivak would be a big problem for Gane, but it didn't. I mean, he wasn't. Spivak's first loss, I think, now he won 3 prior to this, and now it's his first loss in 4. But yeah, I don't know, man. Gane he's an enigma to me because he can look this good. Okay, forget the John Jones fight because I mean, John Jones is the best, and that he swarmed him.
Greatest of all time.
Swarmed him, but Cyril Gane's just one of those guys. I don't know. Again, I don't know what it is. When he gets to the really tough fights, he just ends up losing them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Gane's I know he's only lost twice, but Gane's one of those guys that will always probably be in and around the title picture. But I think the more he fights up at the top, 2 or 3 guys. I know he's number 2 or something now.
Yeah.
I think his record will get worse because I think he'll lose, those close fighds.
I disagree. I'm a big Gane fan. I think he can take. Well, if he versus John Jones again, I'd say he still has a chance. I think that the issue with John Jones, I think he can bounce back. I think
how
he
does
can
he beat John Jones?
I think takedown defense. I whenever I've seen a lot of interviews of him talking about it, and he always talks about he made one mistake. I don't know what that mistake is technically, but
But John Jones got to his back, and then John Jones was able to trip him from the back, and then he basically, you're on the back foot from there.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I just think John Jones is picking him apart from next week, around the corner. I feel. I mean, it's not disrespectful to Gane. It's nothing against him. It's just how good John Jones is.
Yeah. No, I mean, fair.
So John Jones. I'm trying to think. I mean, Stipe.
I think it could be him versus Stipe again. I would love to see that fight.
Isn't it scheduled for the end of the year?
Him and Stipe?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw a poster. They're looking at it for the end of the year. Maybe. Well, look, I don't know. They're starting to build towards UFC 300. So who knows what's going to happen on UFC 300? But I'm almost certain in the New York card that fight's happening.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I'm trying to think Sergey Pavlovich could beat him. But then again, you got to stop the takedowns because I think John Jones is so well-rounded and he can do what he needs to do.
We were talking about different fighters. So I was saying Gane versus Stipe. I would love to see that.
I thought you were talking about John Jones and Stipe.
That is confirmed.
That is confirmed. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not going crazy, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's to UFC 295, I think.
Yes,
Yeah. So that's, I mean, Stipe has always got a chance.
I'm very keen for a fight.
I actually think Francis Ngannou probably would have been the best to try to. I mean, I think he's strong enough to stop the takedowns. I think the only thing with Francis Ngannou is he'd need to, in the grappling exchanges, need to watch his neck and stuff like that, and getting maybe a guillotine like Cyril Gane did.
Yeah, because John is clever. It's because Francis, it takes 1 clock and then you're out, and he wouldn't let you get that that range. He'd either keep you at range or then get really close. Yeah.
Well, one thing's for sure, John Jones is probably not going to knock Stipe out. He's got deceptive power, John Jones. Okay, and but I'm struggling to see a situation where he knocks him out unless he really hits a lot of precision punches.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to have to dominate him for 5 rounds, which he's more than capable of doing.
Yeah.
Unless for some reason his power translates really well to heavyweight and he's knocks him out with a head kick or something like that. But that's interesting. And that's why these fights at heavyweight for John Jones are interesting because we're going to get to see if his power translates. Same thing with Hamzat and Paulo Costa. It's the same thing. Like, does the power translate to a higher weight class?
Yeah. But what do you think about us or Aspinall being in the crowd, and then like Gane kind of like, he's like, I'm not really that keen for that fight. I just want to go to the title.
I would say the same if I was Gane, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's Aspinall's like a boogeyman. Aspinall's beatable, but he's also not going to be easy to beat him, and he could beat you.
Yeah.
So I would also not want that fight. Why would you?
Yeah. You called out Pavlovich, though. I think that's maybe the fight to make, and I just don't know what happens with Gane then.
Look, Pavlovich is an alternate for the John Jones-Stipe fight. So he's going to have to, I don't know if he cuts that much weight. Probably does. He's a ginormous person.
Yeah.
But it's probably not too much. So he'll cut for that, and the UFC will probably reward him with the next title shot after that. Probably, I don't know. I mean, they want to build stars. This is what this business is about, building stars.
Yeah.
So if they've got a star and a potential star in Aspinall. So they could make that fight. They could make Pavlovich next, maybe say Gane, Aspinall. But Aspinall's proven himself. I mean, he's top 5. He run through people.
Yeah.
So who knows? That's the thing, man. The UFC's got so many options, dude. Like, this is a game, they win or they win.
Yeah.
There is almost no losing, unless it's like unless you're making UFC 293, then they are losing. But we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But it's a win-win. I mean, one side wins, you go with that. The other side wins, you go with that.
Yeah.
So overall, good card. What are you saying?
Good card. I would say 7.5 out of 10.
I got a 7, yeah. 7 for that one. Decent card. Very good card. Now we move on to
the preview.
A glorified fight night, in my opinion. I think probably one of the least anticipated
That's very fair.
UFC pay-per-views
Glorified fight night
of all time.
Yeah.
I don't even think I'm going to tune into this, to be honest with you.
How can you have an Oceania card without my man Volk? Like, it doesn't make any sense. As well as we're not making the actual fight, the middleweight, the big title fight. I don't know why they booked it for this month. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yes, let's get into that. So first of all, Rodriguez fought at UFC 289, right?
Yeah.
That was when, okay.
Yeah.
And Volk.
Yes.
Okay. Forget for a second. Actually, no, don't forget it. Just think about this.
Yeah.
Kai France, I think, is well fought on that card. I stand to be corrected. But they had so many Oceania fighters. Volkanovski was there. Dricus was on that card. Or Rob, whichever one you wanted, because Rob's also Oceania. So whichever way that fight went, we said it on the one episode here that it's too short a turnaround time.
Yeah.
I said it on the Talking Points video as well, like the UFC stuffed up the booking.
Yeah.
They really stuffed up the booking. Now you add injuries into that. Kai France is injured. He's not going to fight. He was supposed to fight. Volkanovski got injured, but Volkanovski wasn't going to fight in any event.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too quick a turnaround time after that. And what? Are you going to have Topuria as well and say, okay, well, you got a turnaround time that's so short as well?
Yeah.
They stuffed it up completely, man. Now I look at this card and like top to bottom, okay, Izzy's on the card. Izzy's always a pay-per-view.
And
Ty,
Ty,
no, but Ty, we're gonna get to the fights and everything, but Ty is a main eventer for a fight night. No disrespect, no, like in all respect, but you get different tiers. I mean, Ty against the top guys has struggled. There are other heavyweights that you make now. If you look at your Pavlovich, you've got all the guys we mentioned: Aspinall, Pavlovich, John Jones, Stipe, Cyril Gane. Those are your pay-per-view heavyweights.
Yeah.
And then you've got maybe lower down on the card, you can have Ty, you can have Derek Lewis and those guys. But that's as a glorified fight night.
Yeah. Very entertaining, but not that like competitive. I mean, not that competitive. I hear what you're saying.
Nobody wants to see Sean Strickland versus Izzy.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants, I mean, okay.
We'll get into it.
We'll get into it, yeah. But I mean, glorified fight night. I mean, look, so just to show you how much of a glorified fight night this is, the first fight, Tyson Pedro, Anthony Turkalj.
Yeah.
Butchering these names, I'm just going to own it anyway.
Yeah.
They're both on a losing streak. Tyson Pedro had a 9-fight win streak before. I wish. 9 fights in the UFC, 5-4.
Yeah.
So basically has a 50-50 record. He's on a 1-fight losing streak, 9-4 total, not that experienced.
Yeah.
Anton's 8-2, 2-fight 0-2 in the UFC, 2-fight losing streak. That opens your card, your main card.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry to be overcritical on this, but like this is really the UFC messed this up, and like this, the number of pay-per-view buys over here. I mean, maybe Izzy can save it. Maybe the patriotic, Aussie. It's Aussie. We're gonna,
Yeah.
It's just gonna tank, dude.
No, I feel the same. Do you remember the last Australia card where Volkov versed the lightweight champion?
Islam.
Yeah, that was huge. And the build-up was amazing. The turnout for the Australian crowd was massive, and like that was a whole nation against the greatest of all time versus the second. Oh, sorry, not all time.
Pound for pound.
Yeah, pound for pound versus second pound for pound. This just doesn't
champion
have the
versus champion doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Like it's rare. The last time was with Stipe and DC, and that was ages ago. Then before that, it was like Amanda Nunes, but Conor McGregor going up. It barely happens.
Yeah,
and like this is supposed to be. So I don't know. I think they signed like a new TV deal or something, or they signed some new thing in Australia. Like, and you make this card. Anyways, sorry, we gotta stay professional. We gotta but anyway.
Yeah.
So. In this fight, I don't know. It's kind of hard to pick a winner, but I think I'm going to go Tyson Pedro by knockout.
Same.
He's had 9 UFC fights. This guy's he's had 2 UFC fights. He's making now his 3rd walk.
Yeah.
0-2.
I can't see it going to the ground. It's going to be a stand-up. And I think Tyson's got the edge. I think more experience.
Then, so now we get to the heavyweights. So this is a rematch because of the eye poke that happened previously.
Yeah.
Justin Tafa versus Austen Lane. Again, so low down on the rankings in the heavyweights. I mean, Tafa, Oceania and everything, but Tafa was on a 2-fight win streak. Austen Lane was on a 6-fight win streak. Before that, this is technically Austen Lane's UFC debut because of the no contest previously.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a very thin division when you get past the top heavyweights.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm a little bit torn in this one.
I still think Tafa. And I've just, to be honest, because I've seen more from him.
And he's got more experience in the UFC.
Yeah.
I also think Tafa, I mean, I don't know. Austen Lane's got a better record. I mean, he's more experienced, 12-3, 6-fight win streak before the eye poke, but outside of the UFC. Ever since all these people have been making their debuts in UFC, I can't go with them until I've seen them. So I'm also going for Tafa by decision, I think.
I think knockout. I think second
Possible. Okay, again, just to show you how lackluster this card is.
Yeah,
okay.
I know, yeah.
Middle of the card, you've got someone making their UFC debut, which, mind you, by the way, the fight before this is also technically making his UFC debut, Austen Lane. But Felipe dos Santos, yes, I get that he is exciting. I get that he's a prospect. I get that he's 7-0. But again, you make your UFC debut 3rd fight from the top. It shows you how lackluster this card really is.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. Felipe dos Santos versus Manuel Kape. Manuel's got a 3-fight win streak.
I think I'm saying Manuel.
I'm also saying Manuel, yeah. He's 3-fight win streak. Yeah, I mean, he's a veteran of the UFC. He's got a good ground game. Look, dos Santos is physically gifted. He's very calm. He's well-rounded. Outside of the UFC, everything I'm seeing, if he had the same run within the UFC, obviously I'd go for dos Santos because everything on paper is saying that.
Yeah.
And I think dos Santos is the favorite. I might be mistaken.
I could
have
find
you got it?
odds.
Okay. I saw it, but I didn't pay much attention to it because I ignored it in some of the other ones. But I'm going Kape as well on this one. I think once you hit the UFC, it's a different story. Unless you're like a Cameron Saaiman that we know is like super proven and well rounded and really the future.
And has had three wins.
No, but I mean, like when he had his debut, also granted he was fighting a little bit low on the card, but like we all knew, I'm sure the Brazilians are going to be saying the same thing about dos Santos, but until I don't think dos Santos was a champion in his previous organization either, which Cameron was. So until you fought in the UFC, I'm sorry. It's tough to back some people unless they're fighting a real like filler jobber opponent.
Yeah.
But again, how do you have someone making their debut third fight from the top on the main card? This card is lackluster.
Again, imagine like a card where you have like Robert Whittaker, Izzy, you have Volk, like, and then also Ty maybe at the
Ty,
fourth.
Cara France, like even just on the patriotic side of things, yes, okay, they're from New Zealand, but still, there's a lot of fighters that you could have put on this card. But anyway, this is one of the rare times that the UFC kind of messed up. Watch this be like the most lit card ever, like just all like finishes and anyway. Okay, so we're both going with Kape on that one.
Yeah.
This one's a bit harder to call. Okay. This is a UFC fight night, Tuivasa versus Volkov type main event in my opinion. Again, second on the card. Ty always game. But on a 2-fight lose streak.
Yeah.
Always has a tough time against taller opponents.
Yeah.
Volkov on the other hand, 36-10, man. That's 46 fights.
Yeah.
It's number 6 versus number 8. Volkov being number 8.
5-2 his last 7.
Yeah.
The only 2 is Aspinall and Gane.
And on a 2-fight win streak. He is quite a heavy favorite, actually, strangely enough.
Yeah.
But I think it's because Tuivasa's on a 2-fight lose streak and Volkov 2-fight win streak.
Yeah.
But Volkov does lose to good opponents. Like, to the top guys up at the top.
Yeah.
Top guys up at the top, yes.
Absolutely. I just don't know if Ty's there. I don't think
this is tough to call.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think this is the make or break one.
Because if Ty loses,
then who knows what happens there.
But then, I don't think it's end of days. You still have like Derek Lewis, which had he was on a pretty bad losing streak, and he's still got his place.
See, Ty's got a tough time against these taller guys.
Like Gane, picked him apart.
So tough to call. What are you saying?
Volkov.
You're saying Volkov?
He's also big. I think that he's bigger, more athletic. Like, I think it's still going to be a dog fight. I think Ty's going to push forward really hard, but I think Volkov, I just see it going his way.
Yeah, my heart says Ty by TKO, but my head says Volkov as well, and I agree with you. And I think just the momentum is a massive thing in MMA. We always say it in any combat sport. Just on a little side note, I was watching Submission Kings this weekend, and there's a guy that was in the sort of the main event title. Well, not the main event, but in a title matchup for welterweight titles, Mptezi Faithful.
Yeah.
And I promise you go to any competition anywhere in the country, like they can be 2 weeks apart, he's competing there. And his whole point was momentum is the most important thing. And that's why he wants to keep that momentum going and going and going and going. And that's what's in Volkov's favor here. So even though I'd like Ty to win and I'd like him to have a walk-off knockout like Mark Hunt style, I think Volkov as well. I think that's inevitable for me. Yeah. So I think it's a 3-round fight, so possibly decision, possibly TKO. I'm torn between the two.
I think so. No, not submission. I think decision.
That's the most likely outcome, I think. Yeah. Then we've got the main event. Israel Adesanya versus Deshaun Strickland. I wonder what walkout song Sean Strickland's going to go on. It's interesting they haven't had a lot of press of this yet. They're leaving it right for the end because they're probably so worried about what Sean Strickland's going to say after his Joe Rogan appearance, where he was saying to Joe, Google, is he doing this? Google, is he doing that? Google, is he saying this? Google, is he saying that? Is he a hypocrite? Is he this? So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't, who
do you have?
Adesanya. If Strickland wins this, he'll probably bankrupt every single betting house in the whole world. Don't you dare say Strickland.
There's a part of me that believes.
How?
I don't know.
How?
I don't know. There's so many holes in his game, especially his stand-up. And I think that it will be on the feet. And I think that Izzy can pick him apart. But there's so much of me that there's a nagging part of my brain that says he has a chance. And I don't know. imagine that world. Imagine Sean wins. Like, it'll be immediate rematch, but like for like what 9 months, it'll just be calamity. Like, I can't understand what else to. Yeah, blows my mind.
I mean, okay, hang on a second. Let's be respectful to Deshaun. And I'm gonna call him Deshaun because of the do-rag and the Hennessy in the one Schmo video.
Yeah.
Which was hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
I think he should just change his name to Deshaun Strickland.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the Pereira fight, that was embarrassing. Like the way he did his stand-up was in that fight, it was embarrassing. Okay. Pereira being an amazing striker aside, it was super embarrassing to
the stance, absolutely.
Challenge him to a duel. Since then, it can't get any worse than that. Okay, now you've got a glare. Like, maybe you said to yourself, "No, it's not that bad. I can get around it. I'm tough," or like whatever.
Yeah.
There's no escaping that. So that was quite some time ago. So to catch up to Izzy, never going to happen in the striking. Like, let's be honest. But to do enough not to get hit like that again is possible. I think it's possible. Okay. Also, let's be honest. I think Izzy's going to be so cocky in this fight.
Yeah.
And try and make an absolute statement. And I think look past Sean Strickland to want to either do a big call out on Dricus again. Maybe they fly Dricus out, they do the whole face-off thing again. Or say something about Hamzat in anticipation of Hamzat maybe beating Paulo Costa, which is not granted, by the way. So there is a possibility. But I just can't, I don't see a world in which the blueprint to beat Izzy is pretty simple on paper. Okay, everybody knows. You put pressure on him, you go forward, you don't get hit, you put pressure on him. He's not comfortable. He's good at grappling, counter grappling, but he's not comfortable, all the way comfortable there.
Yeah.
He hasn't really fought a proper grappler just yet because him and Romero, again, didn't really grapple that much. If you take him down, which Pereira was able to do, Strickland's not the same size though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But that's what Strickland has to do to win. Get it to the ground, and even if he's got to do a Chael Sonnen versus Anderson Silva where he just lays on him and hits him pitter-patter punches, that's enough.
Yeah.
But I cannot see him keeping... He might get Izzy down, but keeping him down? Just don't see it, dude. I just don't see it. Especially now that Izzy's been training with Craig Jones.
Yeah.
Who's got such unorthodox ways of getting back up to the feet. I just don't see it, dude.
My brain, I absolutely agree with you. But I don't know. There's just like some part of me that's like, he might win. Anytime anyone steps into the cage, there's a chance. And just what that would do, to the landscape. It would be imagine it's a walk-off KO with Sean and then he versus Hamzat next. I don't know. It would be great for the division.
No, it wouldn't. I think it would be horrible for the division. I don't even know if I want that to happen. Because think about it now. So as it stands, if Izzy is champion, look at some of the fights that are there. Okay, there's not a lot of them, but there's good fights.
Yeah.
Dricus, Hamzat.
Yeah.
Okay. If Sean Strickland wins, there's not one good fight there because he gets smoked by anyone in the top 5 or 6.
So it's just who can campaign to go next.
It's just who's first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and also, I like when a champion, one of two things happens. A champion goes out on top, retires on top, okay? Without having to lose or be a journeyman or whatever, retires on top. Like if Anderson Silva retired before the Weidman fight or took the Weidman fight seriously and won that fight, retired, great. On the other side, I like it. I like when this happens, when there's a passing of the torch and a champion is beaten for the next. Because again, that's what this business is about, stars. Once one star goes out, you pass the torch to the next. It's like wrestling, except they plan it there.
It's better for the division as well.
It's better for the division as well. So I would like to see whether it's Dricus or it's Hamzat, take Izzy out. Even if they then do a rematch, take him out again. close that chapter. Izzy's no longer the champion, like Leon Edwards did with Kamaru Usman.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
So I don't think Izzy's going to retire if he beats Sean and win. I'm going with Izzy. I don't think he retires.
Mm-mm.
I've seen some people saying he possibly retires and rides off into the sunset, ducks Hamzat and ducks Strickland. But the way he's talking, I don't think he's going to retire. I think he wants that UFC Africa fight. And I think it maybe, and I'm hoping it happens sooner rather than later next year, and then that's what they do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Are you saying Sean's going to win?
No.
Okay. Well, then what was all of that for?
No, I'm just saying, like,
because I was going to say, if you pick Sean Strickland to win, you have to bet on him.
Yeah.
Like you have to.
Yeah. I don't. I pick Izzy. I still the dream. I'm not going to give up on the dream. It's he beats Sean and then versus Strickland, UFC Africa. That's
23rd of March 2024.
Yeah.
In Cape Town.
That is the dream. But I'm just saying, if like there's a part of me that would be so excited and so happy just for the chaos of it if Sean wins. Just like it would just be an insane thing to happen.
Yeah. But no one benefits from that besides Sean.
I know.
Sean.
But that's kind of what makes it like, I don't want it to happen. But if it does, it'll like, I don't know how to explain this.
What if?
Yeah.
Think about it. I'm trying to relate it to something, it would be a bigger upset than Juliana Pena beating Amanda Nunes.
Absolutely. It would be the biggest upset in UFC history.
I think so. Yeah. It's bigger than the biggest upset in UFC history at the moment is either Chris Weidman beating Anderson Silva or Matt Serra beating GSP.
And there's parallels you can draw between Silva and Izzy,
I don't know, man. I like. See, because if Strickland does win, they have to again do a rematch, and then you get to see Hamzat versus Strickland. I'd rather see that for a title, to be honest with you. Hamzat Strickland.
Yeah.
But yeah, surely Strickland can't win.
Yeah. I don't think he can. Well, he can. Like, anyone can win, but I don't think he does. But if he does, it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
Imagine he wins by like injury or something.
Yeah.
Okay, like let's say Izzy gets injured.
That's probably the most likely way. Yeah.
That is honestly, if there's a bet you want to take Izzy getting injured.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have a Sterling Piotr Jan situation. Imagine that. Okay, where he like doesn't deserve to win the belt. Well, Sterling didn't, in my opinion. But anyway.
Yeah.
Imagine then Strickland ends up and going and beating him in the rematch like Aljamain did.
Yeah.
And then goes on a bit of a win streak. Imagine he's like, oh, I'm the champion now, so now I've got to put the time in.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I just can't see it happening. No, it's not happening. It's not
happening.
It
feels like a fever dream, but I'm just saying it's not. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't touch wood, but like
we would be in the twilight zone if that happened. Yeah. There's no chance. So, listen, UFC Fight Night, Australia. I mean, UFC 293, Australia, guys. It's going to be a bogus card, I think. Sorry to say, I'm skeptical. But, hey, man, if this thing... I can't sell this card. You screwed up, UFC. You screwed up with this one. Like, you should have waited. You should have waited, like, at least just a month from now.
Yeah.
They could have done it. They could have swapped Abu Dhabi with this, to be honest.
Directors could have made it then. I'm not sure what
2 million pay-per-view buys. Easy. Cameron's fighting in October.
Yeah.
So is what it is, man. It is what it is. We'll see what happens
in October.
Yeah. It's been confirmed. Soon. No, well, it's 3.5 months after the last fight. Because remember, before in the same card as Strickland. Yeah, that's exciting, dude. The kid he's fighting is 9-1 or 9-0 as well.
Oof, okay,
I think 9-1. Yeah,
nice. Very,
very exciting prospect. I texted him when the news came out, and I was like, do you know like where on the card you're fighting or whatever? And he's like, no, I don't know. Like. He didn't really care.
No.
I was like, it better be on the fucking main card this time, because I mean that guy's been on a tear. He deserves to fight top 20. I feel like top 30 or at least,
and be
on a fight night main card.
Yeah, Do you see? What's that young one? Also same weight division.
Rosas Jr.
Rosas Jr. He's versing Terrence McKinney.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. On when? Do you know when that is?
Mm-mm. But that's encouraging.
Yeah, well, he's probably going to be on the main card. Like, watch now, he'll probably be on the main card of that card, even though he's coming off a loss. It's because
they both are then.
Because he's American. That's why. Yeah. You know. So, yeah. But listen, Cameron said in the last time I spoke to him on the interview, like, he wants to be in title contention next year, and this is another road.
Yeah. To get there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sorry, not Terrence McKinney. Terrence Mitchell.
Terrence Mitchell. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Rosas Jr. I mean, I don't know. Like, I always had this conversation with Hadmi, one of our coaches. Like, he reckons even if you start younger, your lifespan in MMA is sort of the same.
Yeah. Like,
you know.
Yeah.
So a guy like Rosas Jr. starting at 17 or 18 or whatever it is, like, his lifespan
at 31, he's
at 31, he might be like.
Yeah. You can see that with Dustin. You know, Dustin started early, but like.
Nate Diaz.
Yeah. How long can you last? Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of things happening. So I mean, there's a lot of things happening for South Africa soon. BK is also hopefully fighting for a title soon. Hopefully, I don't know what's happening with that.
Yeah.
Cameron's back up there. Hopefully Don gets a fight again soon. Like he said on the Tuesday episode, you know, he's hoping to maybe get a fight in between. Let's see. It's a good time, man. It's a good time. There's also a couple of people competing in jiu-jitsu as well, and overseas. So it's a good time for South Africa. I just hope this goes from strength to strength now.
Yeah.
People keep pushing on. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Like I said, if you want to get 10% off Ligum fight wear, active wear, jiu-jitsu wear, link is in the description. Please give this video a like. Please subscribe to the channel, and please follow us on Spotify and all of our other social media. We hope you enjoyed the show. Let us know in the comment section what you guys think of the glorified fight night. I mean, UFC 293. And yeah, we welcome any suggestions that you'd like us to add for the next show. So we see you next week. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, guys.